WAGSY'S World, WAGSY'S World, it's awesome. WAGSY'S World, WAGSY'S World, have some fun. WAGSY'S World, WAGSY'S World, like and subscribe.
Hello everybody, I'm Wagsy. Welcome to WAGSY'S World. Oh boy, that music must mean we are doing what makes Jaws great, the movie Jaws. You know, I have a friend, we give him a nickname of Uncle Charlie. He rarely goes to the movies, to the theaters. In fact, we joke back and forth that the last time he went to the theaters to see a movie was Jaws. That was in 1975. Well, Uncle Charlie, this review and talking about what makes Jaws greatest for you, because you must have loved that movie to get you to the theaters. Hey, stay till the end of the video. I've got my top 10 Steven Spielberg movies. Please like, subscribe, ring the bell. I would greatly appreciate it. Well, let's just get into Jaws. Released in June of 1975. Directed by Steven Spielberg. Roy Scheider, Richard Dreyfuss, and Robert Shaw were the starring cast in the movie. Oh yeah, I forgot one other, the shark. Universal Studios spent an unheard of $1.8 million to market this movie in television ads and other types of ads. It was very unusual to give a push that hard with $1.8 million behind it. It was shot at Martha's Vineyard, back in Mass. They had production problems galore, especially with the mechanical shark, and they went over budget and over schedule. Spielberg used the soundtrack and music and different camera angles to create Alfred Hitchcock-like tension in the movie. And the shark was really not in that many scenes. He used a lot of other tactics to create the dread of the shark. He also put levity in the dialogue, because this was a dark story in the book, very dark story. Now the sheriff's role, which Roy Scheider had, was first offered to Robert Duvall. And Captain Quint, the Robert Shaw role, was first offered to Lee Marvin. And Hooper, the Professor Hooper, played by Dreyfuss, was offered to John Voight and Jeff Bridges. So the cast we got was kind of second, in some cases third choice for the director and the producer of this movie. And Quint, the character, was kind of supposed to be like Captain Ahab in the Moby Dick book and, of course, movies. When Dreyfuss first read the role, they realized, we have our Hooper. I mean, his whole fanatic way, they said right away, we've got our guy. Now, sales on this movie. They did $21 million in the first 10 days. And in 1975, it did $123 million. Both of those were records at the time in 75. It's also a top 10 grossing movie of all time if you factor in inflation and those type of numbers. It won 3 Academy Awards. It lost to Cuckoo's Nest for the best picture that year. Critics consider it a top 100 all-time movie. And its success allowed movies like the Alien series and a lot of other kind of sci-fi, scary type of movies. Jaws allowed those movies to be made, because with its success, the studios would put up the bucks to fund these type of movies, and that hadn't happened before. A scary movie or a sci-fi movie was always a B picture, and they didn't give them much money to work with. Here's a few little known facts about Jaws. You know, the shark, of course, he had a name, and it was Bruce. The quote from the sheriff, Roy Scheider, when he's got the cigarette and he walks back in after seeing the shark for the first time, he says, "You're gonna need a bigger boat." That was an ad-lib by Roy Scheider, and it's probably the most famous quote in the movie. A couple of the scenes were shot at the editor's house in their swimming pool. So they know they weren't out in the ocean for a few scenes. They were in the editor's swimming pool creating those shots. Now, Wagsy, why do I think Jaws is great? Well, in my hometown, it was like most towns. The lines were wrapped around the theater to get in to see Jaws. It was a phenomenon. I mean, nothing had ever happened like that, where people craved to see this movie. Not once, not twice, sometimes 3 and 4 times. I thought it was a complete movie. You know, the story, the plot line, great acting. It kept you on the edge of your seat. Now, Quint was played perfectly by Robert Shaw. I mean, the chalkboard scene where he tries to get everybody's attention by scraping the chalkboard, the dialogue he has out in the boat, his accent, his demeanor, everything. It was beautifully played. And Dreyfuss played a zany professor really great too. He, he's kind of like Jack Lemmon, just kind of bam, bam, bam. He's just always moving and erratic. I love the scene where they're singing in the boat, and they're drunk, they're singing, and they're showing off different scars they've gotten from stingrays or sharks. Quint talks about being in the war and kind of being out in the ocean waiting to be rescued by a helicopter. I love that scene. And of course, Bruce, Jaws, collides into their boat and interrupts their fun time they were having. Just a little time to get away from what they were trying to accomplish, which was kill this shark. I think they kind of used Quint, Robert Shaw, and Richard Dreyfuss, the professor, as kind of like a comedy team going back and forth. And then the sheriff, Roy Scheider, was like the straight man, kind of negotiating with both of them. For the time, it was a scary movie, let's face it. And it also got people to begin to think as they were at the coast, going out in the ocean, what crosses your mind? That movie. And I think that probably put that in everybody's head during that year and even since. People still it kind of clicks. Remember Jaws? Okay, that's why the critics, and obviously the ticket buyers think Jaws was a great film. Check it out if you haven't seen it ever or in a long time. Revisit it. Here's my top 10 movies by director Steven Spielberg. And this is in order. My favorite, and I've talked about this on another show, Saving Private Ryan. Definitely my favorite Spielberg movie. Probably a top 10 or 15 movie all time for me. Number 2, Jaws. Great, great movie. You don't sell all those tickets by accident. Number 3, Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first film of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Number 4, the first Jurassic Park. Boy, I'm saying first, because these were all made into sequels. They did so well. So number 4, Jurassic Park. Number 5, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Another groundbreaking movie. And Spielberg's made a bunch of them. Number 6, for me, Minority Report. Love that movie. The subject matter is what I love. And number 7, Munich. Another great movie. 8, Catch Me If You Can. Super entertaining. And great performances by Leo and Hanks. And number 9, Indiana Jones, Last Crusade with Sean Connery. Super, super fun movie. Very entertaining. And my final number 10 favorite Steven Spielberg movie is E.T. E.T. the Extraterrestrial. groundbreaking, heartwarming, just a good picture that everyone can see, relate to it, and enjoy it. And there's my top 10. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, listening, tuning in. Have a great Friday. We'll see you next week.
WAGSY'S World, it's awesome. WAGSY'S World,